In this lecture, let us talk about advantage and disadvantage of digital signal processors. The advantages that accrue out of the use of DSP as compared to ASP, analog signal processing, are many. The first advantage is less sensitive to component tolerances and environmental changes. Some lag is there. Okay. So in analog signal processing, change in any element like an inductance or a capacitance or a small shift in the power supply will cause a change in the performance. If power supply drift is there, then what will happen? The operating point will change and the performance of the circuit also will change. Okay, but this also happens in digital circuits. Okay, but the advantage is, since you are coding a high amplitude by binary 1 and low amplitude by binary 0, even if the amplitude changes by, let's say, 10% or 20%, it doesn't matter. Okay, 1 remains 1 unless the amplitude drops down to the noise margin. So probably you'll be studying about these terms: noise margin, binary numbers, all those things. Okay, so therefore the DSP digital circuits are less sensitive to component tolerance and environmental changes. And the second advantage is the digital circuits allow volume production. Volume production without the need for adjustment during construction or use. So DSP processors are available off the shelf. You can pick up one and you can do the program and you can use it. Okay, so even if the performance deviates a little bit, one does not worry. Okay, one goes on with the volume production, and once the process is set, the timings and steps, nothing has to be changed. Okay, so this is second advantage. And the third advantage is digital circuits are of course amenable for full integration, but that is not the case in analog signal processing. Okay, so this full integration is not possible for analog circuits because of inductance and transformers. These are no bulky devices, so you cannot go for integration. Okay, a transformer cannot be made into an integrated chip. An inductance of a respectable value, if you want to picohenries and so on, very small values, yes, they can be made by ICs. Okay, very small values of inductance can be integrated into the ICs, but inductances of respectable values like microhenry or millihenry is very difficult to make in the ICs, because inductance basically requires a large volume. Inductance requires large volume or large space. Okay, you know the principle behind this. We know that inductance is flux per unit current, right? And in order to generate flux, you require some space. You cannot generate a large amount of flux in a small space unless the magnetic permeability is astronomically high, and it also depends on permeability. Therefore, the inductance depends on the permeability. As I said, to generate the flux, we need space. So, very high permeability materials are not available, and therefore analog circuits are not amenable to full integration. Okay, so inductances and transformers have to be outside the chip. And the next advantage is accuracy. Okay, in digital signal processing, accuracy can be increased almost indefinitely by increasing the word length. So okay, so accuracy can be increased by increasing word length. But if you increase the word length, then what happens? The hardware size also will be increased. So therefore cost also will be increased. So that you have to keep in mind. See, as you put a more number of bits, you have to pay more, but the accuracy increases, of course. Okay. And the fifth advantage is, in analog signal processor, the dynamic range is limited. Dynamic range is limited in analog signal processing, but in DSP that is not the case, right? In op-amp, operational amplifier, you have plus VCC and minus VCC. So the output is limited between plus VCC and minus VCC. Okay, so if you want to increase the output, then you cannot exceed either plus VCC or minus VCC. It gets saturated. But in digital circuits, this is not the problem. Okay, in digital signal processing, since we are handling numbers, there is no question of saturation. Okay, so we can handle as large numbers as possible. So it's very easy to increase the dynamic range in digital signal processing, but that is not the case in analog signal processing. Okay, and so in digital circuits we use fixed point numbers, and if the fixed point numbers are not sufficient, then you can go to floating point. Okay, probably you might have done this when you did the C program, then you put integer and then float, then double, like that, right? So why all these type of data types are needed? To increase the number of bits. Okay, so you can use a floating point with the characteristics and mantissa stored in the separate registers. Okay, therefore in digital circuits there is no question of limitation in the dynamic range. Okay, you can handle very large dynamic range, but this is not possible in analog signal processing. Okay, and the next advantage is, what is this from 5? No. The next advantage is multiplexing, multiple jobs. Okay, you can use the same processor to process 2 different signals or 3 different signals. Okay, you can use the same processor to time share 2 different operations. Okay, so let me illustrate this through a figure. Let me move this. Okay, let it be as it's no problem. Say I have 2 signals here. Okay, one signal is sampled at 0 second, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, like that, at all even times. So the time is scaled in microseconds. Okay, the first one is let's say this is my first signal and my second signal. Okay, so the first signal is the one which exists only at 0 microseconds, 2 microseconds, 4 microseconds, 6 microseconds, and so on and so forth. And the space in between, you can put in another signal, right? So the space between 0 to 2 and 2 to 4, there is a space, right? So this space you can use it for some other signal. So what I am going to do is I'll put this signal, second signal, in between 0 and 2, in between 2 and 4, in between 4 and 6. So this guy exists in this interval, and this guy exists here, and this occurs here, and this occurs here. Okay, so this is called time multiplexing. You can put in a signal at 1 microsecond, look at here, 1 microsecond, 3 microsecond, 5 microsecond, 7 microseconds, and so on and so forth. So these two signals are then mixed up, okay, and they looks like this. So this third one is mixed signal. Okay, so if there is a digital signal processing occurring at odd values of time, then it handles only the second signal. If the digital signal processing occurs at even values of time, then it looks at the first signal. Therefore, the same processor also performs another operation during the even periods of time. And the same processor can perform operations on two different signals which have been time multiplexed. And then at the output, you can separate the two. It's very easy to separate, it's not a big issue. Using digital circuits, you can separate out. So the beauty is the use of the same processor simultaneously for different operations is a great advantage of digital signal processor. So time multiplexing is one of the great advantages of DSP, but you cannot do it with the ASP, analog signal processing. If you mix two signals in analog domain, then you cannot separate out, okay, because in analog signal processing it is a continuous time signal. Okay, if one mixes with the other signal, there is no way you can separate. In ASP, no way you can separate out. Okay, once you mixed up, that's all, finished. Okay, so this is very important advantage. And the next advantage is, what is the point number? I think 6. So the next one is 7. Okay, and the next advantage is it is very easy to adjust the processor characteristics simply by changing the coefficients. Okay, so a digital signal processor can be very easily adjusted for different characteristics by simply changing the numbers, some coefficients. Okay, this can also be done in analog signal processing, but how do you do that? By changing the value of a resistor or capacitor or an inductor. Okay, so in DSP you simply adjust by coefficients. It is very simple, just to change the number and you can use it, not an issue. But in analog signal processor, you have to adjust resistors, inductors and capacitors. Okay, changing a number or coefficient is much simpler. This is very simpler, and this is not that much simple. Okay, then changing the inductance or capacitance. No, it is very elaborate procedure. Just like that, you cannot go and change it. Okay, varying a capacitance is not a problem, but then you have problems of contacts. Okay, so like if you keep on changing the resistance, inductance and capacitance, then there will be some problem. Due to these environmental changes, you have some wear off problem. Okay, similarly, resistors, you know, the potentiometer contact gradually wears off. So this wear off problem will be there while you keep on tune these guys, especially resistors. But this kind of problem will not exist in the digital circuits. So you simply change your number. How do you change? Simply change the coefficient and then you get a different characteristics. It's like a programming, right? Okay, if you write a program for adding 10 numbers, it's not a big deal to add 15 numbers like that. So therefore the advantage is easy adjustment of processor characteristics. By changing coefficients. Okay, but in adaptive filters, variable example, in adaptive filters, variable cutoff filters, you can change it. And the next advantage is very important. Okay, at least for communication engineers. Okay, it's very, very important advantages, this one. So one of the major and dominant advantage, in fact we can call dominant advantage, is realizing the exact linear phase filters. Realization of exact linear phase filter. Okay, so the linear phase systems can be designed by using DSP, and this is not possible in analog signal processing. Okay, you cannot realize a linear phase filters in analog signal processing. Okay, and this linear phase filter has been a dream of communication engineers, okay, to get exact linear phase. So linear phase means what? There is no delay distortion. No delay distortion. So this distortion is a big problem in communication. Okay, so when you have linear phase filter, that means what? You don't have any distortion. Distortion means what? You are disturbing the signal, distorting the signal. That will not happen. Okay, we will come back to importance of linear phase in a little in a later lecture. Okay, in more than one lectures. Okay, so but this is one of the major advantages of DSP, that it can attain exact linear phase, and therefore it permits processing without any delay distortion. So exact linear phase. So this is the very, very important advantage of using DSP. And then the next advantage is multi-rate processing. Multi-rate processing. Okay, that means what? Different parts of the signal, processor can work at different rates. Okay, suppose in case you have a signal like this, in this range it works at a rate, let's say R1, and in this range it works at a different rate R2. Okay, rate means what? Number of samples. And in this range it works rate R2, here also number of samples. Let's say here 10,000 samples per second, and in this range it works 8,000 samples per second, like that. Maybe probably in this region it works with 7,000 samples per second. So this is called a multi-rate DSP, because the processor can work at different sampling rates or different rates. That is, the sampling rate can be different in different parts of the processor or different parts of your signal. And there are well established techniques for changing one sampling rate to another, and vice versa. You can sample up or sample down. See, here I am using 10,000 samples, and here 8,000, and here 7,000. Maybe I can use it here something like 5,000 or something or so. It doesn't matter. So these kind of things can be done without any problem. And this facility is not possible in analog signal processing. And the next advantage is no loading problem due to cascading. Cascade means one after another. Okay, so multi-stage amplifiers. You have amplifier 1 and followed by amplifier 2, and this is called a cascade configuration. CASCE CADE. Not CADE, cascade. There is one more term, cascode, that is different, don't confuse. Cascode. These all are related to your electronic circuits, don't confuse. We are talking about this one, cascade, one after another, cascade means. Okay, when two amplifiers are cascaded, that means one after another it is connected. Nominally, the gain is the product of the two. Let's say this first amplifier, let me draw here. Let's say amplifier A1 and second amplifier A2. The gain of the amplifier is, let's say, G1 and this is G2. The overall gain of these two amplifiers is G1 times G2, product of these two, product of the two gains. However, this is not invariably the case in practice. It is the ideal condition. Okay, ideal condition, it is the case, but in practice this is not invariably the case. Why? Because one amplifier loads the other, so there is something called a loading effect. Loading effect will occur. Okay, so one amplifier loads the other. As soon as you put a loudspeaker at the output of your power amplifier, the final stage would be generally a power amplifier. Okay, then what happens when you connect a loudspeaker? Then there will be some loading. Okay, so unless it is perfectly matched, the power amplifier output goes down. So there is no such problem in cascading two digital circuits. So you have digital circuits 1, DC1, and then you put DC2 here. No loading effects. But in analog circuits, there will be a loading output. Okay, so there is no such problem in cascading two digital circuits, provided you don't exceed the fan out of the circuits. So you will be studying what we mean by fan out. Okay, so probably these topics will be covered in digital electronics. So there are no loading problems due to cascading digital circuits. So what is the point number 10? Then the 11th advantage is easy storage. Easy storage in tapes and compact disc or DVDs. Okay, for as long as one likes. So digital signals can easily be stored in magnetic tapes and discs, including optical disc, for as long as one likes. So no problem in storage. So this is one advantage. Okay, and in DSP, very low frequency signal processing is possible with the ease. Because in analog signal processing, if the frequency is very less, then inductance is a problem. Okay, because next advantage is low processing, low signal processing. Okay, because in inductance, you know the reactance J omega L. If the frequency is less, then you have to increase the inductance value. Okay, so inductance problems will arise. So at frequencies in analog signal processing, inductance poses a problem, but there is no such problem in digital signal processing at very low frequencies. Okay, so that's all about advantages of digital signal processing. However, all are not roses. Okay, so all are not roses with the digital signal processing. There are disadvantages also. And the major disadvantage, of course, is the increased complexity. Increased complexity. Why this point comes? We have to use more devices. If you recall from the previous lecture, we used a sample and hold circuit, and then A to D converters, then D to A converters, then low pass filters, and even you require one more low pass filter at the input also. So we need two low pass filters, A to D, D to A, then sample and hold circuits. So it is very it is a very complex process. Then the major disadvantage is that the frequency range for operation of a DSP is limited due to the sampling frequency, due to the rate at which you can sample and hold. Okay, sampling and holding devices, and also A to D conversion. When you go to high speed, then the A to D converter should work at a high speed. In practice, you cannot use the sampling frequency with higher frequencies, and therefore if the sampling frequency is high, naturally signal processing cannot be done for high frequencies. So that is one disadvantage. Then the another disadvantage is, if you have a purely passive circuit like inductance, capacitance and resistance to do the signal processing, then there is no question of power dissipation, at least if you have inductance and capacitance. Of course, if you have a resistor, then there is a question of power dissipation, no problem. So in analog circuits, we use resistance, inductance and capacitance in ASP. But in DSP, we use a chip, circuits. Here resistance dissipates power, but it is much less as compared to the power drawn by digital circuits. So power dissipated by resistor is less than power dissipated by digital circuits. This P indicates power, and this DC stands for digital circuits, and the suffix R indicates a resistor, and this P indicates power. Because a typical AT&T DSP processor 32C processor contains roughly 405,000 transistors. Okay, so approximately dissipates 1 watt power. So there are no such problem with the LC circuits. So power dissipation will be more in digital circuits. So if you don't use a resistors and if you use LC circuits alone, then power dissipation will be less in analog circuits. But even then, one does use the DSP because of their other dominant advantages. Okay, so so this power dissipation is rapidly changing, and many engineers are working on it, how to reduce the power. Okay, so power dissipation is one of the major challenges for DSP engineers, and one of the aim of TI, Texas Instruments, is to make a digital circuits which will require low power supply, particularly for devices which are to be implanted in live bodies like the human body, the heart artificial transplant, or the artificial hearing aids. Okay, they would not where this power dissipation is the biggest problem. So this power dissipation would not be there in the future. In DSP, engineers have successful it may not recover a battery. Battery is a major problem, right? Okay, if battery goes again, the entire circuit will be dead. So to make a small battery, is also a problem. Okay, if you want to put it inside the human body, it is a problem, and the life of the battery also a major concern. So they are aiming at devices which will work from body temperature. Okay, so they are designing a circuit in such a way that so it functions from the body temperature. And of course, as long as a person is alive and the body temperature is in between two limits, the device should work. Of course, if the person is dead, then the device is useless. So this is what it is. So one has to go up to several milliwatts than in terms of watts. So this is a disadvantage of DSP processor. So increased complexity and power dissipation. But even though we would like to use digital signal processing because of the other so many advantages which are offered by the DSP processor. So let me stop at this point. In the next lecture we will talk about digital signals. Okay, thank you very much.